Picture this. You walk into a room of strangers. 6 months later, half of them remember your name and actively want to help you succeed. Here's what no one tells you about influence. It's not about being the smartest person in the room. It's not about having the tightest elevator pitch or a wall of credentials. It's about triggering one specific psychological response that makes people think, I want this person to win. Hi, I'm John, and today you'll learn Dale Carnegie's Code, 9 principles from How to Win Friends and Influence People, my favorite people skills book, turned into a framework you can use in your very next conversation. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some people become instantly memorable while others fade into the background. And you'll have a step-by-step system to become the person everyone remembers. Let me start with a story about 2 kids and a pile of toys. One child kept leaving everything on the floor. The other quietly put his toys back. Rather than calling out the child who wasn't putting toys back where they belong, the mother did something different. She praised the child who was cleaning up. I love how fast you're giving the blocks a home. You're a great helper. The other child heard the warm attention, wanted it too, and started picking up her toys without being asked. That's Carnegie's essence. Instead of trying to force people to do what you want, invite them to want it with you. Most of us try to influence through logic. We list benefits, we prove value, we recite achievements and hope someone notices. But people make emotional decisions first, then find logical reasons to justify them. Connection lands in the heart before the head. Carnegie's principles work because they create the right emotional response before any logical conversation begins. When someone feels genuinely appreciated and understood, they naturally want to help you succeed. This isn't manipulation. It's alignment with human nature, creating the conditions where real relationships can breathe. Here's the Carnegie Code, 9 principles that transform strangers into allies. Principle 1. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Criticism isn't neutral feedback. It collides with a person's ego. It signals you're less important, triggers a sense of status loss, and the mind armors up instead of listening. Your job is to keep them in approach mode. Drop labels and blame. Describe the goal, name what's working, and point to the next useful action. Try lines like, thanks for turning this fast. Let's add a quick second eye chat before the next send. When replies land within a day, everything moves smoothly. Can we keep that rhythm this week? I want us compliant and safe. Here's the exact step we need to add today. Skip lines like, how did you mess this up? You always do this. This design is wrong. Unbelievable. So let's circle back to that story about the kids and the toys. The mother didn't criticize or nag the child who wasn't putting things away. Instead, she praised the one who was already cleaning up. That's the heart of the first Carnegie principle. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. By highlighting the positive, you can inspire the behavior you want. It's a perfect reminder that people respond better to encouragement than to criticism. Principle 2. Curiosity first. Your first job in any conversation isn't to be impressive. It's to be impressed. Become genuinely interested in other people. Not networking interest, but real curiosity about who they are and what matters to them. Here's how one salesman used this principle. A doctor wanted to purchase X-ray equipment and was overwhelmed by salespeople pushing their products. One salesman stood out by writing, "Our factory has completed new X-ray equipment. They're not perfect, and we want to improve them. We'd be deeply grateful if you could look them over and give us your ideas about how they can be made more serviceable to your profession." The doctor had never been consulted by a manufacturer before. This made him feel important and valued. The more he studied the equipment, the more he liked it. He eventually bought it, as he felt that he contributed to it. Why it works. People spend most of their day feeling misunderstood or overlooked. When someone shows authentic interest in their expertise and opinions, it creates an instant connection. Try this in your next conversation. Ask one question about their current challenge, one about their favorite part of their work, and one about what good would look like 3 months from now. Then listen like you're looking for treasure. Principle 3. Affirm before advising. Before you share your perspective, find something true you can affirm in theirs. When people feel judged, the brain's threat systems light up. Openness collapses. Honest appreciation lowers that threat and reopens the consider new info pathways. Start by naming one thing they got right. Stand on the same side of the goal, then offer one small, specific improvement. I see why you chose speed. The deadline was brutal. We both care about shipping without surprises. One tweak. Let's add a 10-minute pre-flight check. When John D. Rockefeller's partner made a decision that cost the firm a fortune, Rockefeller could have exploded. Instead, he affirmed the intent. He congratulated his partner for salvaging what he could under pressure, and only then discussed how to improve the process. That sequence saved the relationship, and it saved performance. Avoid flattery. Be specific. Name the exact behavior you value. What I like in your approach is how you de-risk the timeline by cutting scope early. May I add one angle on testing? Principle 4. Remember names. A person's name is the sweetest sound in any language because it signals status and belonging. Using someone's name is not window dressing. It's a precision tool for attention. Try the 3 times rule. Early. Jamie, how did you get into that field? Midway. That's a sharp point, Jamie, especially the way you frame the trade-off. Close. Jamie, great talking. Mind if I send you that framework? To make names stick, anchor them. Spell and say it back. Is it Jaime with an I or Jamie with IE? Attach one vivid detail. Jamie, fintech project manager who surfs. If you blank, don't fake it. Say, I'm sorry, I want to get this right. Would you remind me of your name? That honest attitude increases likability more than a lucky guess ever could. The deeper principle is continuity. Scattered name drops at the beginning and end feel transactional. Weaving their name naturally through the conversation signals genuine attention. Principle 5. Never correct publicly. When you correct someone in front of others, it feels like status loss, and status threat breeds resistance. Even when your facts are perfect, the other person's mind armors up. Instead, keep the group moving without blame. In public, say, that's one useful way to see it. There's also data suggesting the other way around. Let's park both views and come back with numbers. In private, be precise. I realized my wording may have added to the confusion. Here's the source I'm using. Could we align on terms for next time? This preserves face while preserving truth. A car salesman once met a customer who announced, "Your brand is terrible. I wouldn't take one if you gave it to me. I'm buying the competitor." He didn't argue. He said they make good cars, reliable people. The customer relaxed. Once the argument evaporated, space opened to share the merits of his own product. Public correction triggers defensiveness. Respectful agreement creates openness. Of course, if the error risks safety or ethics, intervene immediately, but pair the correction with protection. To stay compliant, we need to do X. I'll take the blame for not flagging this sooner. Principle 6. Enthusiasm transfers. Energy is contagious, but only when it's grounded. People unconsciously mirror the emotional states around them. Authentic excitement signals reward ahead, and we lean in. The key is to show real interest in what energizes the other person, not perform a caricature of enthusiasm. Ask what makes time fly for them. Match their pace and language without faking it. If they light up about cooking, say, "Perfecting a simple pasta is my happy place too." Then connect that energy to what you're doing together. Drop me your go-to recipe, I'll send you mine. You don't need to be loud. Curiosity plus specificity reads as real enthusiasm. Close with a small commitment. I'm excited about what you're building. Mind if I check in next week to see how it's shaping up? Principle 7. Give credit away. Ownership builds commitment. People fight for what they build. That's not just kindness, it's psychology. We value our own fingerprints on things. Give credit away means you clearly name who improved the idea and let them own it. Say it in the room and in your follow-up notes. When the work is presented, have the person who did the key part to present it. People back what they help build, so ownership raises commitment and performance. Use plain lines like, "This direction came from Priya's customer insight. Alex connected the datasets, that's why we caught it. You led this section, you should present it." Make it a ritual. At the end of every meeting, name 2 contributions per person and capture them in the recap. You train a culture to scan for credit, not blame. And notice the side effect. When people see you consistently giving credit, they lend you theirs without being asked. Principle 8. Interest over interesting. Stop trying to win the conversation by shining. Win it by seeing. The best conversationalists are the best listeners. They ask follow-ups that prove they're tracking, not waiting to talk. At a gym, a member was furious and slammed his card on the counter. "You billed me twice." The manager didn't argue. She let the man explain, then repeated the facts back. "You were charged on the first and again on the third for the same month, correct?" She pulled up the account on screen, issued the refund, printed the confirmation, and set a billing flag to prevent repeats. She added, "I've emailed the receipt and put my direct line on your profile if anything slips." The member's voice dropped. He wasn't calmer because of a clever line. He calmed because the manager showed he understood the exact problem and fixed it in concrete, visible ways. Principle 9. Errors admitted. When you're wrong, say so quickly and emphatically. Confession disarms criticism. A man was stopped for not leashing his dog twice. The second time, he beat the officer to it. "You've caught me red-handed. I'm guilty. I have no excuse." The officer softened and issued a warning. Carnegie himself once made a public mistake and received furious letters. Instead of defending, he called the angriest critic and said, "You're right. I botched it. Thank you for taking the time to write." The critic flipped from hostility to warmth in minutes. There's a deep reason. When you condemn yourself, you remove the other person's job. They no longer need to attack. They can switch to helping. The phrase, "I was wrong," creates psychological safety for others to be wrong too. It makes you human and approachable instead of brittle and defensive. Let's pull this together into practice. In your next conversation, choose 1 or 2 principles that fit naturally. Maybe you start with curiosity first. What are you solving this quarter? Then remember names with the 3 times rule. Layer affirm before advising. Small moves, big compounding effect. Or combine give credit away with enthusiasm transfers. That angle was yours. Let's build on it. I'm genuinely excited about where you're taking this. Practice makes progress. Your success metric is simple. People start saying, "It was great talking with you," instead of "nice meeting you." They share more personal details. They ask for your contact info. They bring you into rooms you weren't in. They want you to win because you made them feel seen, safe, and significant. One trap to avoid: don't try to use all 9 principles in one conversation like you're checking boxes. That sounds robotic. Pick 1 or 2 that feel natural for that person in that context. Let the rest emerge over time. You are now the kind of person who creates connection, not just conversation, who builds influence through genuine interest, not impressive credentials, who helps people feel valued instead of trying to prove your own value. The Carnegie Code is not theory. It's a set of habits that rewire how people experience you. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment with the 1 principle you'll try in your next conversation and share this with someone who also loves building soft skills. Hit the like and subscribe if you want more frameworks that turn timeless wisdom into practical skills you can use immediately. Your next conversation is a fresh chance. Make it count.